Alright guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm really excited about today. I have my Asus Rog Ally, just came in. I picked this up at Best Buy. Also got the official carrying case as well. We're going to go ahead and unbox this together. We're going to see what comes into the box. We're going to get our first hands-on impressions and obviously go through the setup and you know, have a quick gameplay of a game just to see how it runs and stuff like that. But there's going to be a lot of content I do with this thing. We're going to do a video coming up this week as well, comparing it to the Steam Deck, because I do own the Steam Deck as well, to see which one I end up keeping. Because essentially, at the end of this week, I'm either going to decide to send this thing back, or I'm going to, you know, sell my Steam Deck off and get whatever I can for that and keep the Ally. So we're going to see how this thing goes, and there's a lot of content that if I do end up keeping this, that we're going to be doing this on, whether it be Steam Deck comparisons, gameplay videos as more games come out, a lot of cool stuff. So let's go ahead and get into the video.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Alright guys, so here we are with the Asus Rog Ally. Again, I'm opening this up here for the very first time. I have seen this at Best Buy. I didn't get to play it because unfortunately my Best Buy had it turned off. So it wasn't something that I could actually, you know, experience to see how the screen looked or anything like that. So that's going to be my first hands-on with this. And sorry that this thing is off the screen, but I realized that this is a lot harder to open than I thought. So let me get this opened. So yeah, I got that open there. Sorry about that. And yeah, so I have seen what the handheld looks like, even if it was in powered off state. But you can see this is the box here. Really nice box Rog Ally there on the side. With your label, it looks like it's a two-parter, and then you can see on the back of the actual box, it goes through some of the specs and stuff like that, and the CPU and the storage. Of course, 512 gigabytes of RAM, has a Z1 Extreme AMD processor, 16 gigs of DDR5 memory, Wi-Fi 6E, which I'm really excited about because I have a Wi-Fi 6E router. And I finally actually got one device that actually works with Wi-Fi 6E, which is the Oculus Quest Pro, that finally got updated for it. And it works so much better when I do wireless streaming from like virtual desktop and stuff. So I'm excited to see what kind of speeds this thing gets on Wi-Fi 6E. So that's exciting. This will be my second device that I have that actually works with that. So that's really exciting. Of course, Windows 10 and all that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and take the tape off of this device. And let's go ahead and get our first hands on of this device. As we open that up, we take the box out, and of course it was the other way, but there it is, right front and center. It's crazy to finally have this in my hands. I've been looking forward to it ever since they've been talking about it, but here it is right here. But before we dive into that, of course, let's put this to the side for a minute. Let's just see what else we have going on in the actual case and what else we have in here. We have the 65-watt charger right here. So you guys know, the Asus Rog Ally charges from 0 to 100 in about 1.4 hours. So really fast charging time, even though the battery life is something that's not the greatest on it from what a lot of people have said. At least it does charge faster than pretty much any handheld out there. You know, 1.4 hours from 0 to 100 is obviously really good. Let's see what else we got in here. If we open up this flap here, I would assume we got some manuals and stuff like that in here. Yep, this is the manual and the information packet and stuff like that we have here. So we will leave that here to the side for the time being. And then we also, I believe, have something that we can actually, I don't know if they put it at the bottom, but I know that there's something that you can actually stand this on. So this is just the actual black cardboard that's in there. But I guess it's this piece right here, duh. It tells you to open this up. So a lot of people confuse this part right here that it was closed like this, and they think that what's in here is garbage because it looks like a piece of plastic that you might think you need to throw out, because it literally is just like, it's like a piece of, like, you know, it looks like that cardboard material that you get in a box and throw out. But actually the intention of this thing is to actually, you know, actually use the thing and put it right here. So you would like leave this here and kind of put this as like a stand while it sits on there, kind of something like that. It may actually go the other way. Yeah, like that. So that's technically what that's for, just so you guys know. So you don't throw that out if you don't want to, so it actually has a place to sit. Nothing special about it, like I said, but something cool to keep around if you want to stand it up. Before we get into the actual unit as well, let's just go ahead and unbox really quickly the actual case as well. Let me open it off camera only because I have my address sitting on it. But this is the case, the official case that Asus actually comes with. Here it is right here. And I wanted to get the official one just to see what it was like here. Here is the symbol on the side. You got the Republic of Gamers. I know some people don't always like the lettering like that. Some people like a more simplistic case. I don't mind either way. This does have a really premium feel, I will say. It feels really nice in the actual hands. It has a really good mesh material that feels really good. And then when you, of course, open it up, you got the inside here. And then you got the manual, which we'll put that to the side as well. You got a little bit of pockets here, so you can go ahead and store some stuff if you want right here. So you can go ahead and open that up. You guys can see right here, you can put some SD cards in here, or maybe your brick or something right there, and then it kind of attaches to the back. And you can see it has a little indentation right there for the actual Ally. So if we take this, so you can see if you put it right here in the case, you can see the analog nubs are right here at the bottom. So then I put this at the top, and then when you close it over, the analog sticks will be right where those nubs are, and then it will close really nicely. Has a really good fit in there. Like I said, I really love the premium feel of the case here. I think it feels good in the hand. So now that we got that out of the way and we got the official case and everything out of the way and we got the charger and all that kind of stuff, obviously what's left to do is, of course, power this thing on. So before we power it on, actually, let's just do a quick view. We got the power button right there. We got the triggers and the RB and LB buttons right there. We got the volume up and down button right there. We got an LED button right there for the battery. We got a micro SD card slot for expandable storage. As you can see there, we got this little slot right here, which is USB-C, and also their proprietary connector for their, you can actually connect a full GPU to this with using their proprietary separate external GPU casing that they have, which is really cool. Obviously, analog stick, digital D-pad right here. You got some buttons here, the A, B, X, and Y. Sitting right here, analog sticks right there, feel good. Obviously, really nice looking in white. And then you can see here on the back of it, you have the extra buttons here that will do certain things that you can see right there. So there it is right there. Really, really nice looking, in my opinion, how this thing looks. Hopefully the white holds up over time, because obviously we know white gets dirty. So hopefully that is not the case. So let's go ahead and power this on here for the very first time. Looks like we're not going to be able to power it on right away because we actually need to plug this in. So we're going to have to plug this in. It looks like the battery actually comes, unfortunately, dead. So we're going to have to plug this in here real quick. All right, so we're turning it on here for the very first time. Now that we have it plugged into power, you can see the nice LED lights that kind of turn on as soon as this turns on right here, which is pretty cool. Nice little logo there. Love that. I like that animation and that sound effect, I'm not going to lie. This is obviously going through its first initial stage because obviously you got to remember this is a full Windows device, so it's going to basically make me set up a Windows account and all that stuff. But I just want to show you guys, at least till we get to the part of, so you can see how the intro of this is, because there's not a lot of videos like that. There's the familiar Windows sound effect, for better or for worse. Then you can go ahead and you can see you can use the right analog stick for the mouse cursor, as you can see, which seems fluid. So I can go ahead and do that, and then I can use the left analog stick to obviously scroll down if I want to. I'm going to, of course, leave it on the United States. Then you can hit A to progress forward. Is this the right keyboard input? Yep, we're going to leave it at US. Do you want to add a second one? Nope, we're going to skip that. I could already tell that this screen looks really, really nice just by looking at it for sure. Then we're going to go ahead and scroll and look for my Wi-Fi. I'm not sure why it's not seeing the 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi, unless if it needs to be updated. It's supposed to be able to find the 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi, but as of right now, it's only finding my Smart House and my Smart House 5G, not the 6 gigahertz one. So that is interesting. But I guess for now, we're going to leave it on that one. And then, of course, here pops the keyboard. So let me go ahead and enter in my Wi-Fi password here. All right, we have gotten that all set up here. As you guys can see, I am now connected to my Wi-Fi. Oh, now the 6G popped up. Anybody else see that? Of course, now that I connected, it took a while, so I'm going to have to do this again and type in my password. So let's cut to me typing in my password for my 6G one now that I see it popped up. I guess it took a minute. And now it is checking for updates now that I got that in there. I'm sure there's probably going to be updates. If there is, then we will pause this and come back after the updates are done. Now we're accepting the licensing agreement, of course, so we can go ahead and hit accept on here. And I will say the keyboard responsiveness that you guys saw when I typed in the Wi-Fi, even though I skipped over it for you guys not to see my password, is really responsive. The touchscreen seems to be really responsive, which is good. Some of these touchscreens end up being cheapened out, and when you use the keyboard, it doesn't feel good. This one definitely did. And now it's telling me to sign into my Microsoft account, which we will do because I will be playing some of my Xbox Game Pass games on here for sure. So we are definitely going to have to do that. All right, so I signed into my Microsoft account and we are all set there. Now it's asking me to set up my fingerprint if I want to go ahead and do that. So touch the power button and lift repeatedly. And that's it, we're all set with that. And then you create a pin, which I will do off camera again. And we're all set with that. Got that part done. Going through a bunch of Microsoft prompts now about using Microsoft Word and all that kind of stuff. I'm just skipping through all those. And we have now gotten to the screen that a lot of us are familiar with when you use a Windows PC. Hi, we're getting things ready for you. So this usually takes a couple of minutes while it syncs things over. All right, so now we're at the Windows screen here. As you can see, you got a couple of prompts here about the apps that you have. So we can go ahead and close that out. Talking about how to optimize your device for touch. We can go ahead and close that out as well. And then it says tap here to launch Army Crate and create your ultimate experience. So let's go ahead. I was wondering if that was going to pop up, but it looks like it was. Took about 30 seconds after getting into Windows, probably updating something in the background, but here we go. Little information agreement as usual. Go ahead and hit I agree. For those of you who don't know, Army Crate is the big deal on here because it's kind of the overlaying software that you use in games and stuff to change, like, your FPS, change your screen resolution, accessing all your games from all different platforms. As you can see here, download all your favorite games, easily download all your favorite games from various platforms. So it's kind of showing you everything it can do. It tells you to add, and you can add all the games right there under a unified place. So you don't have to worry about going in Windows and opening up this launcher and opening up another launcher and blah, blah. You can customize all the controls uniquely for each individual game, which is fantastic. And you can quickly access these features by pressing the command button, while you're in the middle of a game. So that's obviously great news. And the Armory Crate button is this one right here on the left. So let's go ahead and get started. So I don't know if Moving Out is a free game that comes with this. It sure seems like it. And then we got Steam sitting right there and Xbox sitting right there are the ones that it look like they're kind of pre-ready to go. You got your settings here, and we'll dive more into these settings in the review when I've had time to obviously, mess with these a little bit more than before. But for right now, just giving you a quick overview with this unboxing and stuff. You got the control modes. You can configure your gamepad and desktop modes based on your preferences. You can go into turbo mode, which is what it's on right now because it's plugged in. So it uses like up to 45 watts, I believe, in turbo mode when it's plugged in. So that's crazy. Wi-Fi is connected to my 5G. I got to change that to the 6G network. Game visuals, you got Bluetooth devices, so you can manage your Bluetooth devices. You got the Aurora Sync if you want to change these lights right here that are in front. You got your audio, so you can go ahead and change that, your microphone and stuff like that, because this does have a built-in microphone, of course. You got your lighting over here, so you can go ahead and mess with that, and you can see here all that is there. And then this is the Command Center. So these are the tabs that you get when you open up Command Center in the middle of a game. These are your quick access stuff. So changing your refresh rate from 60 to 120, your resolution from 1080 to 720, the keyboard popping up, the operating mode, like I said, turbo mode or standard, the control mode, the gaming profiles, show your FPS counter so you can see what the FPS is. You can do FPS limiter, and you can add a few more buttons if you need to as well. Then you got your media gallery, since this thing will take screenshots for you while you're playing in game, which is cool. You got your system, your game platforms where you can download more games, user center, help center, featured, and update center, which is definitely what we need to do right now to go ahead and see, because I guarantee you this stuff is not updated completely. There it is. It's not. It's actually, before we hit that, let's go ahead and check for updates and see what it comes back with. Because they've added a lot of BIOS updates and a lot of other updates over the last month since they were getting ready for launch. So I'm sure this thing in the box is not fully up to date. So you can see there's updates for a lot of things here. Let's go ahead and there's Armory Crate update and there's device component updates as well. So let's go ahead and update all of them. And here we are after Armory Crate has gotten its update. It says gaming profiles. Game profiles allow you to remap buttons, swap sticks and triggers, or personalize lighting effects and performance to create the perfect controller experience in every game. So that's actually really cool, because if you have a certain game that you want to run at 15 watts, 25 watts, or whatever, or maybe 8 watts because it gets 60 FPS and it's an indie game or something like that, or you want the colors to be a certain thing in a certain game, that's obviously cool. You can swipe down to refresh your game catalog here. Obviously right now there's not much, but what's on here already. But you can see here the battery is sitting at 79% right now, and now we should have everything up to date. Let's check one last time. If everything is now up to date after running those, we should be good. And actually, we do have another update after I did it, so make sure you come in here a couple of times, because it may not catch all the updates the first time. So do this a couple of times when you get in there and update everything. Most of them are pretty quick, as you can tell, but you will have to go in the update center and kind of update things a couple of times just to make sure that you have everything. So one last time, folks, check for updates. Let's see if we are up to date now. And as you can tell, we are now up to date and there's nothing to update. So that's great. So let's go ahead and get some games on here, shall we? I'm going to go ahead and link my Steam library first. I'm going to show you a little bit of gameplay of the new update to the Disney racing game, which we're going to show off here. So I'm going to connect my Steam account. So let me go ahead and do that. All right, guys. So we are back after I just downloaded the all the games. As you can tell on here, I put a lot of games on here so far. I have a 1 terabyte micro SSD card that I have in here, and then I also obviously the 512 that's in there. So I added a bunch of my Steam games that I want to play on here and check out and do reviews on and show you guys how they, in future videos, how they work. And then also some games I'm excited about that I was never able to play on the Steam Deck, which we'll do a separate video on to see how that goes. But I just wanted to give you, obviously this is just a quick unboxing and overview, and this video is already pretty long, but I did at least want to show you guys a quick comparison of what I've noticed so far. So first of all, one of the things that I always thought was going to happen with this thing, that I'm really glad it's not, is that when I first got this, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to plug in like a mouse and keyboard because I don't want to have to use this screen to set all my launchers up and sign into everything, and it's going to be a pain and blah blah blah. Honestly, the touchscreen is really, really responsive, a lot more responsive than I thought it ever was going to be. And I'm really, really impressed with how responsive the touchscreen is, how well the touchscreen is working and everything. And it works really well. Even on a 7-inch screen, I was able to manipulate windows and, create folders and all that kind of stuff, use the on-screen keyboard, and all that stuff worked really well. And I was able to do this all without keyboard and mouse or anything relatively easily. So glad to see that that's the case, and it's relatively easy to use with the touchscreen, which is nice. So that was alleviated. And then the other thing that caught my eye, which I will show you guys here, I am going to open up Disney Speedstorm, which is the game I'm playing a lot right now. I'm going to open it up on my Asus Ally, and I'm also going to open it up, hopefully it lets me open it up in 2 different versions at the same time. I have my Steam Deck here in front of me, so I am also going to be opening it up on the Steam Deck because I want to show you guys a comparison of these devices. And oh, actually, yeah, it's not going to let me. So we're going to have to do this on different times, but that's fine. So take a look at this screen quality here as I pull this up here and it zooms in. First of all, the speakers on here are even louder than the Steam Deck. They sound really good. I'm definitely really, really impressed with the speakers right off the bat. I did play this a couple of times already just to make sure it all worked and stuff. This is the only game I've tried on here, though. I have not tried any of the other games that you see installed. I just tried this while everything else was downloading. And you can see right here, I don't know if it's coming across in the video. I don't know how many of you guys have played this game, but you can tell how much better the screen quality is on here just by looking at the colors of this screen right here. It looks really good. It has a really sharp detail to it. It looks fantastic. You can tell that even though, the 1080p screen's coming into effect, but just the colors and contrast on this device are much better than what they are on the actual Steam Deck. And that's obviously, really good to see. So you can hear how loud these speakers are as they're coming on here. I don't know how much that's coming across, but it does sound really good. And I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration. I'm just going to go into a private track because I don't want to, or actually local free play because I just want to show you guys a quick track here. Let's do the Pirates one since the Pirates one is pretty good. And I do have everything set to, as you can see here on this game, everything is set to all the way up. You can see here 1920 by 1080. I guess it just lost connection with the server. 1920 by 1080. And also all the graphics are turned to ultra on here, as you can see. And we have this sitting right here so you guys can see. I'm gonna go ahead and move this. I love the fact that you can put this anywhere you want. This is some of the stuff that we'll get into with these settings on here that you can pull up. So we'll leave the CPU on just like that. That's fine.
You won't be disappointed. Let's get out of here and see the time for a good old.
Here are the new characters that just got added.
You came to the right space, Ranger.
Don't worry, I know just what to do.
Love that they're all fully voiced.
What do you say I lead and you follow?
But anyway, let's go ahead and view my catalog of guys that I have. I'm going to go ahead and use him.
Trust me, I'm a natural.
So here we go right here. Looks really, really good. I am running this on, as you can see, turbo mode right now.
Monster win.
And you can see the FPS that I'm getting, 71 or so. I am playing behind a viewfinder, so don't expect for me to do that well. It's hard to keep the center in frame and playing at the same time. But the game looks great, runs great, it looks better than it did on the Steam Deck. This is one of the games that I used to play on the Steam Deck all the time. And in 1080p, it looks even better, especially with the colors on the screen. I think that's the bigger thing. And let me pause this here for a second. Even though the volume is fantastic, it's kind of loud right now, so let me just lower it just a little bit so you guys can hear me a little bit better. But that's definitely what catches my eye the most. It's not just the fact that it's a 1080p screen. I was playing this game at full maxed out settings on the Steam Deck as well. It was running at about 40 FPS in that circumstance and 720p. And now I'm running the game at over 60 most of the time. Sometimes, and depending on the track, like this one has a lot going on, which is why I'm showing this one. You can see it sometimes gets to 57, but that's without being plugged in. Remember, you can run these games even better if you have plugged in, because the wattage goes over 40 if you want it to, the TPM. But right now it's going to 25, and you can see still runs really, really solid for a racing game like this. I will take, almost 60 FPS the whole entire time on most tracks, as opposed to running the game in lower quality, because the game just looks that good. So you can see this looks really good, runs really well, and I'm super happy. This is definitely a huge improvement. Again, 1080p, but the screen quality is what jumps out at me the most. Like, the colors on the screen really do pop. And I'm going to show you guys, even though I'm going to do a full review on the Steam Deck and stuff, I'm going to actually pause this here for a second and pull it up on my Steam Deck here. So I have the Steam Deck right here in front of me. We're going to be using the exact same character and the exact same track that we're going to be doing, so you guys can get an idea. We're going to do the exact same Pirate's Life, everything the same. This is also obviously running at 720p because that's what this screen is, but it is running at full, at everything maxed out, like at Ultra, just like the other game. So it will be comparable in that regard besides the resolution. But what we're really paying attention to here that, again, jumps out at me the most is just the actual colors on screen. I still think this game looks fantastic on the Steam Deck, so don't get me wrong, as you can tell, because there's a lot of color and the game is really colorful and stuff like that, so it lends itself to being a good-looking game, in my opinion. But the colors do really pop on the other screen. It's kind of really, really noticeable. The Steam Deck never had a strong screen to begin with. That's one of the things everyone's always brought up. But you can tell that even though this is running pretty well, you can see it's running at 45 frames per second at 720p, when I can get this at like almost 60 steady, running at 25 TPM on the Asus Ally at 60 FPS and at 1080p, which makes the game look even nicer. So again, the screen quality here is still really good. I mean, I always had fun playing this, but obviously comparing them side by side, I don't know why I ran into him. That was dumb. You can definitely tell that the Steam Deck suffers in that department as far as that goes. But just wanted to give you guys a quick comparison on the Steam Deck. So yeah, guys, that is the Asus Ally. Obviously, we have a lot more to delve into when I do my full review on this thing. The next thing I want to do is a Steam Deck comparison, like a little bit more in detail of what I just showed you, comparing some of the stuff back and forth, comparing some games and stuff. That will be the next video I do. But of course, I'll be doing a full review as well. There's a lot to get into. I love this command center that you can pull up anytime you want. So I can easily change this from turbo mode to whatever I want, change the control mode, go to game profiles that I want to. You can turn that real-time monitor thing up, which is awesome that I can move this around anywhere I want and shows you all the metrics. And you can pull this up for any game. You can easily show the desktop really quickly from here. If I just do that, boom, I'm on the desktop, which is great. You know, I can turn AMD RSR from right here. You can change the resolution really quickly. You can change the refresh rate of the screen. Don't forget this is 120 FPS. I got the microphone added on there if I want to turn it on or off. And I can also take a screenshot or record the screen, and you got your brightness and the volume right there. So really, really cool stuff that command center is there. And then you could just hit this button as well, and it brings you right back into the full interface here with the game library that we've talked about before. But there's obviously more to dive into as I continue playing with this. This is just a quick overview of the actual system as I unbox it and stuff, but my first impressions of this thing are really high so far. Again, just based on the one game I played. We got to see what happens when I play the rest of these games on different launchers and stuff, but playing that Disney Speed Story game, definitely, you know, well worth the upgrade considering from the Steam Deck, just for the screen quality alone, like we talked about, and then the graphics obviously now being 1080p, and obviously the higher FPS. So we'll see how that fares with other games that I play on the Steam Deck and how it fares head-to-head on the Steam Deck video that I'm going to do, and see which one of these systems, if I either end up returning this or end up keeping the Steam Deck. But let's go ahead and wrap up the video. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that video on the Asus Rog Ally that you guys saw there. A little bit of an unboxing, show you guys what it came with, first on impressions, and a little bit of gameplay of like Disney Speedstorm, because I love that game. And obviously today is actually the same day that they just dropped the Toy Story expansion into the game. So I was really excited to check that out and see this on the screen. So far, as you guys can tell, my first impressions on this thing are really high. We'll see how it goes in the next coming days as I continue to play with it, get more involved on the battery life on the certain games that I play and stuff like that. But what has me really excited, and what made me pick this up on this, you know, even though I had the Steam Deck and potentially going to sell my Steam Deck off, is obviously the first thing is the power. The fact that I can have more games running on it, you know, with more graphical fidelity and stuff like that is great. The fact that it has a 1080p screen is great. But the fact that it also runs Windows, even though it could be a detriment, and we'll see how that goes, it obviously is its benefit, because there's certain games that I want to play that I can play on my Steam Deck, like, for example, Diablo, and like, for example, Call of Duty and Overwatch and stuff like that. So it's going to be fantastic. Or if you could play some of them, you have to go through a bunch of different hoops. And, you know, you could always install the Steam OS on this thing if you really wanted to. If you want to put the Steam OS and wipe out Windows on here, and you just like the handheld and the screen and stuff like that, you could do that too. But the thing that caught me off guard the most so far is definitely the screen. We all knew it was a 1080p screen. It's this IPS screen, the same thing the Steam Deck has, but this screen is much better than what's on the Steam Deck. You know, the higher fidelity and the colors and the contrast and stuff is really apparent, and that's one of the main things that like a lot of people talk down on when it came to the Steam Deck. Which was that. So it was good to see a, you know, quick little comparison to show that, to see that is definitely something that's much better. But like I said, when we do a video this week, later on in the week, comparing, you know, full-on comparison between the Steam Deck and the Asus Ally, we'll dive more deep into that and more of the different features on what I like from both as I continue to use this. But so far, I'm really happy with it. It's time for me to put this through its paces and continue playing more games and downloading a bunch of stuff. So we'll be back with more videos later this week, guys. If you guys have any questions about what you guys have seen in today's video, as always, leave it down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Until next time.